Thanks for taking the time, church, to check out our daily devotions. Hope this devotion finds you in a really good place today, even in the midst of the chaos that we're experiencing here. We're going to continue to look at these audacious statements of Jesus found in the book of John, these I ams, the ones that he claimed to be God himself, and in his generation really upset the religious leaders of the day. And we as Gentiles, if you're reading this as a Gentile or listening to it, may not catch the full meaning of it, but his people and his generation certainly did, that he was claiming to be God. And in the midst of this, he says, I am the resurrection and the life. We hear that statement quite a bit at funerals, and it's meant to bring hope for us living on this side of heaven. We see that maybe these pains of losing a loved one, this loss that has been suffered by the family or by the friends of the family, as a way of bringing hope of the future, and it truly is. And it really gives us a glimpse that if we put our hope and our faith in Jesus, we're going to see him in glory and continue to live with him. And that's a truly beautiful thing. But it's interesting where this comes up out of. Jesus is taking his time as he hears about his friend Lazarus being sick and in bed. And he gets this word sent down to him from his disciples, from Lazarus' sisters, Mary and Martha. And what Jesus does is waits. He tarries. He says, in fact, let's go to another town. And it really stirs the disciples and says, hey, your friend's sick, Jesus. Why don't you run to him and heal him? And Jesus says, no, it's going to be okay. What he has, this sickness, is not going to end in death. What kind of surprise that must have been to Mary and Martha, as their brother actually dies and Jesus does not come at that time. I'm sure for days they're wondering, what in the world is Jesus doing? And so is the disciples. But he asked them to wait. You know, that is a very difficult thing for us to wait, isn't it? God, how come you can't just clear up all these things that we're suffering, the pain that we're having, the loneliness? You could just in a second wipe them all away, and miracles could happen all over the place. But you choose sometimes to wait. Why is that? You know, I really think that he desires for us to have our faith strengthened by having patience. This endurance will, in suffering through this, will increase our faith. We see this in the book of James. He says, consider it pure joy, my brothers, when you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith will produce perseverance. And then it talks about this perseverance will make us more mature. Well, thanks a lot. That's the hope that we have, that we're going to be more mature. Well, that really is the hope, that our faith will be increased so that we again can walk through these times and have joy in it. That's an incredible step. I know I'm certainly not there. But here Jesus waits. Days later, he comes to the grave, now Lazarus dead, and the sisters come running to him and say, oh, Jesus, only if you had been here in time, our brother would have been healed. But now what? Mary is the one that's crying, and others around her, and it causes Jesus to cry as well. He had compassion on them, even though he was knowing all along that he was going to bring glory to God and raise Lazarus. Those around him said, if he was here, he would have been able to do this. In fact, man, Jesus, this is too big of a deal. You did it to the blind man, but apparently you can't raise people from the dead. And Jesus says, you're going to see the glory of God on this one. And he says, Lazarus, come on out. It's time. Lazarus comes out, and he's able to blow people away. Many people followed him after that miracle. So folks, for us, We don't necessarily need a miracle in our life, which I think we have lots of blessings and lots of miracles showered on us all the time. But God will choose some miracles, choose blessings on the righteous and the unrighteous. It's up for us to endure during this, have it increase our faith until at such time we are with him in glory. We have a lot of questions perhaps for him, but that's where we'll find hope and peace and our final rest when we see him in all who he is. Thanks, church, for listening. We'll see you again real soon.